Hey guys, kinggath here with another patch for Sim Settlements. This is patch 2.1.3, which I'm calling Technolotree. Alright, the poor wordplay hopefully gave it away. This patch I'm finally introducing the UI for the technology trees to help you guys plan out your settlements a little better. So I do want to warn you, Prince Gath is joining me once again for these patch notes, so I apologize in advance if there are any screams. Those are not me, those are absolutely him. So let's start off with talking about some changes to the upgrades that I've added in here. So one of the things that came to my attention with the Brewmaster patch is that if you're playing with automatic upgrades, you could eventually lose access to the brewing, and that's not very fun. So the first thing I did was added the ability to override your settings on a plot-by-plot basis. So for example, if you've got automatic upgrades on, you can come up to a plot and you'll see that there's a new submenu called Manage Upgrades. And if we go in here, we can set Prevent Auto Upgrades, and that will make it so that now this brewery will stay a brewery until you tell it to do otherwise. So if you want to keep a building at a lower level, you can do so. And that includes the non-advanced buildings, so you could keep an agricultural plot at a lower level, you could keep a bar at a lower level, any type of plot you want. You can lock down the upgrades so that it doesn't happen individually without you controlling it. And the same goes the other way. If you've got manual upgrades on across the board in your city manager settings, you can allow individual plots to auto upgrade. So both options are available so that you can kind of control these on a plot by plot basis. Now, if you've got manual upgrades set onto a plot, the upgrade option is now underneath this manage upgrades. So this iron mine I know is ready to upgrade, but I've got prevent auto upgrade on. So if I come in here, we'll see that the upgrade building option is there. So anything regarding upgrades, I'm going to be moving into this manage upgrades menu because I do have plans for some more things beyond what I've added in this patch. So I wanted to make sure that those were separated so that this menu didn't become longer than it already is, which is getting quite extensive. So if we go to manage upgrades, I'm now going to show you the tech tree. So the tech tree is an actual UI element, and it is done dynamically so that it works not only with the Industrial Revolution, but also add-on packs will automatically tap into this. They will need to make some slight changes in order to give their their building names a little icon and whatnot, but for the most part, they will have to do very little to get these working. So this whole system is designed to be future-proofed and ready to work, not just with Industrial Revolution. So the first thing you'll see here is that there are a lot of things labeled as undiscovered. And this is so the UI reflects the way the gameplay is. And that's that the idea behind Sim Settlements is that your settlers are the ones doing the discoveries. They're the ones doing the building. So until you've had a chance to see one of these buildings, it will remain undiscovered on your tech tree. Now, this is not on a settlement by settlement basis. So as soon as any of your settlements have discovered a particular building, it will always show up on your tech tree for your reference. In this particular case, I'm on a fairly fresh playthrough, so it doesn't have a lot undiscovered yet. So I'm going to bounce over using the little options listed at the bottom there. So you see it says tap aim block to cycle through the tech trees. So right from this menu, we can use our cycle to go to different tech trees so that we can access this information without having to jump from plot to plot. Excuse me. You can also access this tech tree in the tools menu of the city manager holotape. So on this water tree that we're looking at, you'll notice in the upper right hand corner there's one that says name missing, and it just has a generic tool icon. That is a add-on pack. So the Ruined Homes and Gardens taps into the water tree and adds some new options, and until he gets a chance to update his mod, it will show up with that name missing. I am going to reach out to all of the add-on authors and show them this new feature so that they can get you guys updates to support this as soon as possible. But in the meantime, I did want to make sure that it was all functioning and working, so they are being tapped into regardless if they have the name set, and maybe that will encourage you guys to bug them to get them in. So apologies to the add-on authors who now have to do a little extra work. I assure you it's very easy and requires minimal changes. Alright, so now let's go over how this tech tree is laid out. So at the very top row are your level 1 buildings. Those are the first things you can choose from Choose Building Plan. Generally, these don't have any requirements and will always be unlocked right away. So you'll see that's reflected that even if you were to start a new character, the top level would show unlocked on all of them. So you'd be able to see the level 1s across the board. Level 2s are where it diverges from that. So the level 2 is that next row, which says pumping station, undiscovered, and brewery across it. And those will start only showing up as you've had those built in one of your settlements. So from there, we've got the level 3s, which come in a vertical line straight down from the level 2s, since there are multiple options. Okay, thanks, Prince Gath, and appreciate the extra information. So the one thing I want to show here in particular is the filtration plant. So you'll notice that on filtration plant, it has an open lock symbol, and then it says by coal pit. So the idea with this is to reflect the technologies that are linked together, those technology unlocks that occur based on having different things inside of your settlements. So if you were to go into another settlement and you decide you want to add a filtration plant, you would need to build a community well, or one of those named missing up there, upgrade it into a pumping station, and then make sure you have a coal pit inside of that settlement, and that will allow you to build a filtration plant. So if you'd watched my in-depth videos on the Industrial Revolution, this might not have been clear, and I'm hoping that this new UI will make it very clear exactly what it is you need to build in order to get access to different technologies that your settlers have discovered. And so if we pop over to the lumberyard tree, you'll see that the coal pit is a level 2 of the lumberyard, which I happen to have over here. So you'll notice that as I holstered my weapon, the UI disappeared. It will also disappear if you open your Pip-Boy. So you have multiple options to get rid of that. And otherwise, it should be pretty self-explanatory. The discoveries that are on there, for a lot of you, will probably all show up instantly because you'll already have had those buildings. If you find that a building isn't showing up on your tech tree, but you know you have it, if you come over to that individual plot and access the tech tree, it will update and make sure that that particular building shows up as discovered. So I did put in some code to attempt to scout through all your buildings and update the tree, but there's always the chance that it misses some just due to the complexity of Fallout's code. So if you find that one you know you have is missing, just activate the tech tree from that particular plot's menu and it will show up there. Now, like I said, the discoveries are shown across the board no matter what settlement you're in, but that doesn't mean they're unlocked in everyone. The idea with that tech tree menu is just to give you a reference chart that's in the game that's easily accessible so that you can plan out future settlements after you've discovered something that you want to build. Now, I know a lot of you have been asking for some sort of technology sharing. You've suggested things like allowing the technology to share with supply lines. I do have a gameplay element being developed that will allow something along those lines, so keep an eye out for that. I also have more options coming to that Manage Upgrades submenu. That's why I added that. I wanted to make sure that anything regarding upgrades could be easily separated so that you don't have 40 options in a straight row on that ASAM sensor menu. Okay, guys, as always, please check out the patch notes. There are lots of little changes, quality of life things, bug fixes, etc. I do want to point out the fact that there was no patch last week. That was actually because of real life events that required me to just work a lot of real life hours at my job. But I am going to switch over to the bi-weekly patches until the next expansion, the same way I did leading up to Industrial Revolution. As you may know, I have been doing heavy recruitment lately, so the Sim Settlements team is quite large, and they're going to require a lot of my time in order to get this expansion to the shape that we want it in. So I will still be releasing bi-weekly patches to get you guys little quality of life improvements and bug fixes, but there will not be a patch next week. It's just going to be every other week going forward. Oh, hold on, buddy. I'm almost done. All right, guys. As always, take care and enjoy the mod.